Welcome back, everybody, to part two of episode number 236. It's time for the hot tags of the week, and since we are doing this Tuesday afternoon instead of our usual Wednesday night, some new stories might pop up. So if they do, leave a comment below and throw it out there for us to leave our comments and such. But we do have a couple things that are actually able to be talked about right now. One of them is a big story that kind of is, I don't know why it ended up popping up as much as it did, but there was a match between Ricochet and Will Ospreay, and Vader criticized it, saying it was basically just like, ballet, kind of a dance sequence or whatever. I have not seen the match, but a lot of criticism towards Vader in response to that, too. But have you guys checked the match out, and what do you think about what Vader said?
The match kicks ass. As far as what Vader has to say about it, there's a lot of old fogies who just cannot keep up with the times, and I did not think Vader would be one of those guys, and it turns out he is. And I got to give credit to Botch Spot, one of my favorite webcomics, is based on a lot of wrestling things, and they did one for this situation, and it showed who's Vader's manager, Harley Race, talking behind Vader like, Vader, you need to stop doing these moonsaults. No one would actually do that in a real fight. And what's with this stupid helmet you're wearing? And it's like, yeah, you could picture the contemporaries from before Vader's time saying those things to him.
Yeah.
And that's the way it's going to be. It's the same thing like, where the previous generation says that the current kids' music is crap and too loud or keep off their lawn or whatever.
It'd be great if one of Vader's criticisms he was just kind of like, it seems too, choreographed, and they're on my damn lawn. Wago, did you check the match out?
Yes, I did, and there was it was a really fun match. There's no doubt about it. Was it flawed in some areas? Sure, they could have done a little more selling, but at the same time, if every match was the same, it'd be really boring. One thing that I think Ricochet kind of missed the point on is, yes, wrestling is somewhat of an art form, and you can do it however you like, but that doesn't shadow it from criticism.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there is something that is fundamentally wrong with a match. So, yeah, I think it's open for criticism, but I personally found the match awesome. It got way too much traction than it probably should have. It was just one comment, and honestly, Vader's comments weren't that bad. It was pretty, I've seen worse said about it. I'll put it that way.
I gotta imagine this is half just the sensationalism of people arguing and half slow news. I haven't been seeing many updates on pretty much anything this week other than people going, wonder what this brand extension is going to be. And it's like, that's not news. That's just speculation. So you latch on to whatever you can. But Drew, what do you think about this whole situation? Have you watched the match?
No, but I think Vader should be more worried about his dick pics getting out than critiquing a match. So I really have no care for it in that matter.
The old people are going to criticize his form in bed.
Probably.
Seth might. You see the lighting on this?
And you got to slow down. Now, speaking of the whole brand extension thing, we had a switch over with NXT TakeOver. It was going to be called Revenge, and they changed it to The End. And we're going to talk more about that next week when we do our predictions and such, but a little odd thing that's happening right now, Ticketmaster has removed NXT TakeOver Brooklyn from the event schedule. So, if we actually have NXT TakeOver The End as the end of NXT TakeOver, and we don't get that 3-day thing like we were supposed to be getting, same as last year, we had Brooklyn and for NXT, we had SummerSlam, and then we had Raw. If they're only showing SummerSlam and Raw, that could mean that we maybe don't get NXT anymore. But it could just be a glitch, one way or the other, I don't know. But do you guys think there's any validity to the idea that NXT TakeOver The End is the actual end?
I don't think it's the end of NXT as much as it could be a reset for NXT. I imagine a lot of these NXT guys are going to go up to the main roster to fill gaps, so a lot of the top-tier talent are going to be missing. If that's the case, then a lot of those guys are going to be very green that's working in NXT, which is fine, because that's what it's there for. If that is the case, can you trust them to fill out, do a big time show in Brooklyn? Maybe not.
That's exactly what it is. NXT has gotten way bigger than it ever should have been. Like NXT should not be selling out the same arena that they're doing SummerSlam in. It just shouldn't be. That if you're doing it that way, those people are ready to move up. So I've been saying that for a while. There's way too many people down there that are way too talented. I've seen mumblings for people as low on that roster as Elias Sampson being nominated to be brought up to fill out this brand split. So they're gonna get a total setback to even before when they had like Neville and Bo Dallas on the top of the card. I think NXT is gonna get cut back almost to like an FCW thing. Maybe it just might have to rely on the brand name carrying it for a little bit. I think they have the potential to make more new stars. They'll sign new guys. They'll get some guys out of this cruiserweight tournament, and they'll pick and choose more people. But I think this is a very smart thing for them to do. And it's not the end overall. It's the end of an era. That's all it means. It's the end of the era of all these Ring of Honor guys and those types coming through.
Or it could just be the end of the Finn Balor Samoa Joe feud. And this could just be one of those things that, Ticketmaster in a day puts it back up.
I mean, somebody said that, I don't know, like Finn's name translates to the end or some shit in some language, so I don't fucking know if it's something as stupid as that.
Mm-hmm. It'd be different if they labeled this NXT TakeOver last show ever or something like that. Then I'd be like, okay, maybe. But we won't know, and this is one of those things, again, where it's like, it's all speculation with this brand extension. We don't know what the fuck's happening, and according to Monday Night Raw, nobody else knows either. So we're not going to find out more until next week at the very least. June 8th is when NXT TakeOver The End is, so we're definitely going to know more when it comes to that show. But it could possibly mean that we're not getting NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, which would be kind of a shame.
And I think a good talking point is that with them taking this dynamic of having just a bunch of Ring of Honor guys and independent guys in NXT right now, a lot of those guys that are there for grooming, that are brand new talent, that have come out of the Performance Center, you imagine it's going to be hard for them to actually learn and go on the road and find themselves in NXT because they're having to compete with these top tier talent. So I think a reset's more than in order.
Even then, too, I mean, it would be kind of interesting if they did reset and they had nobody and it's all brand new people. And they still just kind of did the show and see if maybe they could sell out that arena from brand new people, I'd be kind of interested. But that's, 2 months away from NXT TakeOver The End. So we'll see when it comes to that. We have another WWE Studios film is announced, The Marine 5 Battleground. It's going to have the Miz is back, Maryse, Heath Slater, Curtis Axel, Bo Dallas, and Naomi. What do you guys think of this lineup? I don't know if any of us have seen Marine 4, Marine 3, whatever. I know Peyton's at least seen the Marine 1. But, man, we've got the Social Outcasts in here.
I think this is a good idea. I mean, I didn't get to see it yet, but that new movie they had coming out where they had a whole bunch of people in it with Dolph Ziggler and Kane and Rusev and the Ascension and pretty much getting the whole cast involved. I think that's a better idea than just trying to have Randy Orton come in for 3 seconds and talk about how he's going to take something to the papers. That makes me way more interested in the movie. And I've heard nothing but positive things about Miz as the Marine. I've heard he's filled that role very well. And the fact that he's getting a third movie in that part, he definitely must be.
Well, it seems like it's sort of like somebody gets kidnapped and there's a group of people and those are probably going to be the Social Outcasts, which is if those people are the ones that are mercenaries. I don't know if I can buy Bo Dallas being a mercenary.
Well, Bo Dallas can be like in Lion King, where there was that one hyena who was just really simple and laughed all the time. That's the one Bo Dallas would be. He's the one who would make some stupid mistake and be the first one to get killed off.
Which one was that? There was Whoopi Goldberg and then the other two.
Mm-hmm. Ed? Yeah, his name was Ed.
Man, I
Shut up, Ed.
Wego, any plans on seeing Marine 5?
Ha!
Drew, what about you?
Well, he mentioned that someone gets kidnapped, but if it's like every other Marine, someone always gets kidnapped. So, I mean, if John Cena shows up at some point, I'll watch it.
Bo Dallas is playing John Cena in the movie.
Is he going to be John Dow? Nah, I don't know.
What? So, a picture in the net.
Last up here, WWE had a John Cena t-shirt design that resembled a Pabst Blue Ribbon logo, and they tweeted at them and said, "Hey WWE, we can sue you." So WWE panicked, changed the t-shirt design. They took it as like a legal threat, basically, or whatever like that. Tweaked it just enough where it's not a parody logo or whatever like that. But I thought that was a funny situation considering they try to take people down for different things here and there. And then it's like they try to do the same exact thing and they're just kind of like, hey, we could sue you. SmarkOutMoment.com has not been taken down in any capacity for our two TeePublic and Redbubble shops, but did you guys see the t-shirt designs? Did you think anything about it? Any thoughts on whether you were going to buy it or you just giving a shit whatsoever?
I mean, I wasn't planning on buying it. I've seen
Yeah.
the shirt. I don't see what the big deal is. I don't see why they wouldn't be protected under parody with that. That's exactly what it was.
I would argue in favor of WWE for it.
Mm-hmm.
They probably could have got away with it. I'm just imagining they just didn't want to fucking deal with it.
Yeah, just for a T-shirt that they could easily redesign. Like, I just think it was better to avoid, especially when it was supposed to be like the symbol of John Cena and American patriotism and all that. Like, they just wanted to like have it be clean, so they just probably changed it.
Yeah, it's like, it doesn't really matter what Cena wears anyway. You just fucking slap some colors on there and maybe an American flag and some schmuck's gonna buy it. So, I didn't see the shirt, so I can't comment if I think it was worrisome or not that they'd get sued, but I imagine they would have been fine. They just didn't want to deal with the hassle.
It looked enough like it to me that if somebody said that was a parody, I'd buy it, but at the same time, if they didn't, I wouldn't have known. And it was like, nah, who cares? Like, they're not screwing over the beer company in any way. It's not like they're trying to make it, like, a legitimate, like, they're making a beer and they're making the logo the same. It's a t-shirt for John Cena. It's got never give up or hustle, loyalty, respect or whatever. Nobody's going to get confused and be like, oh, I can't buy that beer anymore. I got to buy that t-shirt instead.
All I can think about is the scene from Camp WWE when he's trying to sell Stone Cold Steve Austin as like the face of Jack Daniels, but they got John Cena instead.
Yeah, maybe they could have tied it in that way. Well, those are the hot tags for so far this week. Make sure you guys all leave your comments below. Tell us what you think of these different topics and anything else that we should break down as well. And we're going to take a break with the rest told in part 3. Come back afterward with Superstar Scores, Cody Rhodes as our main event in part 4.